I am so enjoying this. Every day, faster. Every day, more points. Definitely must be getting better.
Opponent's kill.
Holy shit.
One enemy remaining. Dominating. One enemy remaining.
Now we're cooking. That's 3.
Spike down. B. One enemy remaining.
It's week 2. I've done loads of practice. It's Aimlab time. Feeling better about this week. Watched loads of videos, lots of practice. Let's see how it goes on this first day in week 2. So one of the things I wanted to draw attention to is sort of just tracking when you're doing Aimlabs. And obviously there's huge debates about how you should use Aimlabs and sort of the way that you should use it as a tool to improve and not as a diagnostic to sort of say, I am good at aiming, because there's obviously so many different facets to how you should aim and how you grip the mouse and how all those different things play together. I mean, entire coaching staff specialize in this type of thing. Is that I don't just want to look at the raw scores here, but in a way I kind of do in terms of improvement. So you can use Aimlabs to find weaknesses, and you can use Kovacs for the same thing as well. I haven't used Kovacs for this, I could use it in future. And basically what we're trying to focus on here is the fact that you look at the starting point, sort of the day 1, which was around, the 10th of October. Most of the scores on all these tasks have gone up sort of at least by 10%, and it's transferring to the game in the fact that headshot percentage is going up. Successful kills is going up. I'm getting kills more than I'm dying. I mean, my KD's not at 1 yet, but there's a clear difference in the amount of duels that I'm winning. That also may be due to crosshair placement as well, but it's more like in some of the clips you can see like the ability to flick from one place to another, to be able to turn around and then accurately shoot where a sound is coming from and things like that. And I just think that if you're a player that's trying to go from iron to bronze, in my experience, it's the ability to understand when you should not peek, and who's got priority on a corner, and also being able to be faster than your opponent. Truth be told, I haven't noticed that much in the ability of shooting, that much difference in the terms of shooting ability from Iron 2 to Bronze 3. But what I have noticed is the way that people pick and take fights. I'm not really seeing a difference in utility use yet. Not really. Kind of, but not really. So if you are a player who's focusing on going from iron to bronze, just focus on picking fights smartly and trying to get a little bit better at aiming, because if you get headshots instead of body shots, you're also going to win the fight quicker. And this is especially true with weapons like Vandal, which is one tap. And if you're feeling particularly adventurous, even trying to get a little bit better with weapons like the Sheriff as well. So I just wanted to highlight that. I put in the description the link to this if you want to use it. It's easily editable. Again, be careful using Aimlabs. It is not a diagnostic tool for aiming in itself. It is something to be used to improve aim by focused practice. Just want to highlight that. I definitely still feel like one of the main issues that I have right now as a player is consistency. And so, I mean, even if I look at the stats from Act 3, where I've played sort of 11 games now, and Act 2, where I played like 50 games, there's still some times where it's like the KD is okay, or it even get MVP. So like you can see here on the 20th of October, so that was yesterday as I'm recording right now, the KD's okay. And I know you can, there's the whole conversation we had about trash frags, and it's like, oh, well, haha, you got 5 kills, but it didn't mean anything. Fair. But I think there's a lot to be said about damage per round, how often you use your abilities, where you're actually placing in sort of combat score and things like that. I think it does matter. I mean, if you're doing no damage at all, you're playing some 400 IQ game there if you're constantly winning. I mean, some people will probably be able to do it, but I think it's just the idea that we've got like a game like here on Sova where it's like 18 and 17 with 11 assists. Good KD, headshot ratio is right on point for the sort of things that it says at the top. And then we come down here where, like, for some reason I ended up playing Phoenix. Really bad choice. Someone else locked in Brim and then someone else locked in a Sentinel, and I don't really have that many characters yet. Oh, and someone played Sage as well. 7 and 17. Awful game. And it's not even really excusable the fact that I was playing Phoenix either, because then I played Brim the game after and then got completely trashed again. And then some like the very next game, literally played sort of like an hour after it. Oh look, 16 and 15, we're going back to where we roughly should be. So I think there's an awful lot to be said about consistency as well. And I think this is going to be something I really need to focus on. I will admit, I have had moments where I do get a little tilted. And it's usually because I think my teammate's going to do something and they don't. And I've had moments as well where I've been tilted at myself for the bad aim. And at that, when that's happening, I come off. There's a gap in between the games. And I always talk to sort of students that I coach, saying things like, if you're tilted, you have to stop. If you can't stay in this frame of mind. And managing tilt is, there's whole things you can do about it. And one of the ways I manage it is that I'll stop if I can. Obviously, in a competitive setting, you can't really do that. There are other mechanisms you can do to deal with it, but in this sense,
they're in kitchen again.
I have the luxury of being able to stop. So if it's in mid game, I'll hang back. I'll play a bit more defensive for my team, make sure I use utility. And I'll also have a gap in between games. So I might go play Aimlabs, I'll get up, have a walk, have a drink, go away from the game, and then come back. And I think that's very important to ranked strategy. You see these horrific loss streaks that people go through because they're just tilted off the face of the planet. And at this point in the challenge, it's really important that I do not do that, because that's going to cost me a lot of time. So that's just a little discussion on the consistency stuff. Consistency is key for this. And I still haven't hit that sweet spot of consistency that I want just yet. But we're getting there. In sort of where we go from here, I'm starting to feel like as I'm moving into silver is that there is some form of coordination in terms of this player will flank, this player will hold this place. People are starting to almost figure out where they should go, whether they're attacking or defending. I ain't going to put my hand up and say that I'm an expert at that. I mean, clearly if I was, I wouldn't be silver. Well, I'm not even silver yet at the time of recording this. I'm bronze 3 and a bit, which is not as far as I wanted to be on the second week. However, given the performance in certain games and the way that things are going, I am confident that I am definitely going to get silver very soon. And it's that focus of how'd you go from bronze to silver. Personally, it is the use of utility alongside the team, not spamming and dropping the utility straight away. And it is the idea in that I have this weapon, I should stand here. I have an advantage of my opponent at this place. So like Phantom versus Vandal at certain ranges. And things like I have the classic and they have a ghost. I don't have armor. It's going to be very hard for me to win that. So if you know they have that weapon, you probably shouldn't be challenging it. And it's just little things. I'm hoping that as I continue to go through with this, it will then be able to I'll be like, okay, what's the difference between silver and gold? All the Ascendant players, if there are any that are watching this, are probably going to meme on this a little bit, saying, haha, you're saying you understand the game and you are in the bottom 30% of players. There is a little bit of credit and a bit of stuff to be said. There is clearly a difference between iron and between gold. Otherwise, all the players would be in the same division, right? But it is really the choice. I think getting to the average rank is going to be a lot of, this is the tool you have. Are you using it in the right place? And if the answer is no, you are not going to be gold because you are not using the tools you are given correctly. And I think if we go past gold, eventually in the long run, I think it's going to be more of a case of, okay, now you know how the tool is supposed to be used. How can you utilize it in a way that counters or outsmarts the opponent in such a way that they didn't anticipate it? Potentially, we'll see how that goes. But that's just my thoughts on moving forward into higher elos as we continue with this. So if you're a higher rank, just tell me I'm wrong. Give me some tips if you're a higher rank. Tell me where I'm making mistakes. Tell me where I'm right as well. And also, if there's anyone else in the comments who's going through a similar thing, please help them out. But again, with these ranking things, I always think it's really interesting to sort of have a discussion around how is rank X different to rank Y, and how do they use the things that they have differently. So I suppose that really sums up week 2 for the challenge, and we're like halfway through now, and it's not gotten to the point where I feel like it's impossible. It just feels like, again, I've hit that thing of you have this stuff to learn now, and how you interact with this stuff is going to directly affect how quickly you rank up. So moving forward over the next week or so, I'm going to sort of switch up some of the Aimlabs stuff based on what I've found my weaknesses are, particularly when it's like I've found that I'm awful at flicking. I can't, like, Aimlabs says, oh, you're good at flicking, but it's like I feel like when I have to go from one target to another, sometimes it's just god awful depending on the angle. So we'll do a bit more on that next week. We'll look a bit more on some of the ways that you can forward your own knowledge of a game without actually playing it as well, because these videos, as much as they are fun, they are intended to help players who are new and show them that it is possible to catch up, it is possible to learn and get to a decent rank in a decent amount of time. Because there's like this misconception that it's like, if you want to be the average rank or higher, it's going to take like a year. You're like, oh, you're 2.5 years behind because Valorant came out God knows when. And it's like, no, that's wrong. It's all about approach. So I hope you find these videos useful as much as they are fun. I find them very fun to make because I get to play games and then upload videos about it, so that's brilliant for me. And as always here at the Esports, I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a like if you do. Tell us if you don't like it and why, and what you want us to do in the future. And make sure to subscribe because a lot of the viewers aren't subscribed. And we'll see you in the next one. See you later.